Yes, sir. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, baby. Can you hear me just okay?
Yeah, I can get you. I can get you in.
You get me in.
Yeah, I can get you in the club with it.
I'm feeling good today.
I can tell. I need to feel like you feel. I'm over here having
Man,
technical difficulties making us
man,
start the
look,
podcast. We're starting it late and stuff.
man, you know what? We apologize to the many people that are out there listening and watching us. I know it's 8:19 and now we're supposed to start at 8 o'clock, but it's Mark's fault.
Yeah, it's all my fault, man. I take full responsibility for it, man. Like it's one of those things, man. You're working hard all day. Your phone tired.
Yeah,
My
I
phone was
bet.
tired, man.
Okay. Well, you know, I don't know, man. I'm feeling myself today because draft night. We got people online watching us. They want to hear what we got to talk about. So apparently, we got something good to say. Is that
Oh, we
fair to
always got
say?
something good to say. Hey, conversation rule the nation, baby.
I mean, I don't know, man. I bounce it off. I feel like Amigo or something.
I mean, you
No,
look
I'm
like
just messing
amigos,
with
man.
you.
Don't try to rap like them, man. We already heard that a while ago.
All right, so let's get this show started, baby. So this is Prism God. We got a special guest today, Trey. I met him about a couple months ago. Let me go ahead and take these glasses off because I just felt like I was on draft night tonight with these glasses on. Let me take them off real quick. Hold on. All right, I'm back to just focusing on the show. All right, so we got an interesting topic today. We talking about buying and selling stuff, right? Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. Oh, I like to make a little money and I like to buy a little card. So, you always measure by not how much you make, but how much you spend, because we all know that we're gonna make a little bit of money on everything that we buy.
Okay, well that's the meat and potatoes of the session. So, let's just go ahead and go in. I think we should just go ahead and go in on this topic because I think it's a really good. Oh, somebody said my connection is pretty bad. Okay, so I may have to try something different. All right, so I apologize for the people who are out there and I have a bad connection. So I'll try to get this thing going differently, maybe later, or maybe next time. But this time we're gonna keep going and act like you can see me. Hopefully you can hear me. If not, then hopefully you can watch it on YouTube. So hopefully you guys bear and just continue to listen. We're gonna bring in our guest right now, Trey. So without further ado, welcome my boy Trey.
What's up, guys?
Hey,
What's
you
going
look at
on?
him, super fly.
Superfly, man. Nah, I'm just chilling, dog. I just put a hat on because I need a haircut. I'm being honest.
And I put a hat on, man, because I'm still tired from this weekend, man, and I don't know how rough I look underneath there.
Man,
Man, I lost my voice. I've been drinking water, drinking soup or eating soup and drinking a lot of liquids, trying to stay right. But yeah, this weekend was crazy.
Yeah,
I
definitely
had
one of the
fun in
best shows
Dallas.
I've ever been to.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean
so
Nationals is probably a little bit better than that, but I think that
What
I think that this show is still good. I mean, it was like an
I said
extra.
I ever been to. I haven't been to a Nationals yet.
Oh well, okay. Well, I've been to a Nationals, and to me, this was it was a good experience. But after going to a Nationals, I'm like, it had that vibe, the Nationals vibe in Dallas, but we were lacking like another couple thousand tables.
Okay.
man.
Okay,
So
Trey, tell us a
actually,
little bit about yourself, baby.
yes,
Me? Oh, man. I'm just, I've gotten to collecting about 2 years ago. And I started Instagram around the same time. But mostly just collect basketball. I just started kind of like branching out into football a little bit. Um, but mainly just basketball stuff and Pokemon here and there. Kind of branched out, but I, you know, I used to collect when I was younger. There's a hobby shop like maybe I could ride my bike up there. It's like maybe like a mile from my house, and that's kind of like what got me into it. That and I mean, I was like 5 or 6 when it was like 1999. So the Pokemon craze was like it is now. Like it's the same thing. Like people were crazy about it. People were that it was a bunch of stuff that just blew up and people were spending money on it. Like but the money is more now. But mostly just, been trying to just build my PC out and, still learn, a lot of stuff, and been making a ton of mistakes, when that's the main thing. And I guess we can get back into that, like when we start talking about buying and selling.
Okay.
But yeah.
I just want to ask you a quick question real quick. I know we're focusing on buying and selling for the show, but I want to know how long before, like how much consists in your PC?
I have about slab right now in my possession. I have only like about 30, but I probably have my PC cards. Yeah, about 30 slabs in my PC, and then I have some other slabs that, I have like 100 total slabs now. And I have a bunch of stuff at PSA right now. I'm waiting on to get back.
Okay.
PSA graveyard.
Yeah, the PSA graveyard.
Hey,
like I sent some of my PC.
I mean, say purgatory. Hey, it's more so like purgatory.
Yeah, more so like purgatory.
Hey, you won't appreciate that PSA decay until you see your Zion Williamsons go from $200 to $800 back to $200. You didn't get your cards out of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's actually
that's
so
true. But my main
PC,
I was gonna say my main PC is LeBron, but just for those people out there that are listening.
Lonzo Ball just went 3, baby, to the Hornets.
Yep. Wow, to the Hornets. Did they trade up?
Nice. I don't know if they did or didn't. So buying and
I
selling.
mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know this is draft night,
but a lot of it derived. You kind of stem from the show this weekend, where we're encountered by a lot of different situations, whether you're on the buying and selling front. And so, I'll go ahead and kick it off, right? So let me ask y'all a question. When we're selling, right, and we have a potential buyer walk up to us, at what point
we'll focus
does an
on
offer
first.
become disrespectful?
Let's focus on buying first, because you got to buy something before you sell it.
True. Yeah. Or you can have it in your possession prior to. Could have been a gift.
But you gotta.
But you're right.
All right, we'll talk about buying. Go
ahead. Go ahead with the buying. No, I was just saying, like, I know where you're going with it, but we're gonna hold that part of it until the end of to the second half, because it's very important that people know what you're looking for. So Trey, let me ask you. So here's another question. So I want to know what it's like for you to buy. Like, walk me through a process of how you buy. What do you look for?
Mostly, I look for something that's different most of the time, but it just depends. Like if I'm buying something, of course you have your stuff that like is popular, it's gonna make some money one day. But I look for cards that are undervalued most of the time. I mean, pretty much what everybody does, but I look at different players.
So are you buying to like be like a collector, or are you buying to be a reseller first?
More so to be a collector than a reseller first.
Okay. So why does it matter a deal if you're buying for your collector? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some people out there, and we've talked about it a couple of times, knowing your lane and then knowing if you're a collector or reseller. If you're buying stuff that you like, deals probably don't come into question unless you're probably potentially looking to make a profit down the line.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's more so of I have a budget that I try to stick to so that I don't, dip into my actual money or spend all my money. Because you can go on eBay or you can go on Instagram and see a story and see 10 cards that you like in a row, and you like so. Next thing you know, you're spending a whole bunch of money that it might be okay, but it's like, well, why did I spend that much money? So, but I'm very like kind of particular when I look for my collection cards. But like you said, you have to buy something before you can sell it. And so I do intentionally buy PC cards that are undervalued sometimes, that maybe I could grade and then trade up to something else that I want.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've seen you do that a couple times. I saw that Overdrive that you recently picked up, which is one of my favorite sets of this new crop of inserts that came out. I actually put together the set, and I have that. Hopefully I can PSA 10 it when it comes back.
That's dope.
What about you, Ra? How do you go about buying?
I'm very similar to Trey. I think for the most part when I'm buying, and you'll see this week on the YouTube show. Maybe next week because I'm not sure how long it's going to take to edit the video. Um, I look at everything as an opportunity. So I look at it as if I'm buying something that's undervalued first. I'm looking at potential to make money. Maybe it's something I can use for trade bait to maybe get something more that I'm interested in. Because you know what, the trading market is one of those conversations a lot of people don't necessarily have, but I think it needs to happen. Especially when you're buying something that's undervalued to trade up for something more that you're looking for. Like, if you're looking for, if you like RJ Barrett, I pick up an RJ Barrett that's nice, and you have something I'm interested in, I'm gonna say, hey man, I'm gonna use this as leverage to get what I'm interested in. So typically when I'm buying something that's undervalued or that I might be able to, grade and potentially make money off of. So I don't know. It's kind of it's weird talking about it because I just fear it's just weird to talk about it.
Yeah, because it's like you want to see yourself as a collector for the most part, and some people are like investors, and there's sometimes a negative stigma. But like you guys buy stuff that like, cause y'all do shows all the time. So I see you like there needs to be another lane. It's like dealer and then investor, because like if you're a dealer, you have to buy stuff. You have to have inventory, but you want to have something that people want to buy.
Yeah, you gotta have a room. Look, that goes big dealer. That's big dealer.
Big dealer right there.
Right there, man.
Yeah.
Hey, he's in a whole different lane, like in a whole different city than us right now.
Right?
But, I mean,
no.
in terms of buying, all right. So again, you understand your lane, you understand your budget, right? And then you can go after those cards, right? So if you like LeBron, right? Now you might not be in the exquisite, out of 23 rookie card dimension, right? But
top Chrome base.
You might be in the first year LeBron mosaic, right? Which is cool because you can pick up those cards for $5 all day long, right? And as a PSA 10, if you pick up enough clean copies of it, you can grade them and then you can make $100, right? So now you're in that card for $20 and it's a potential $100 bill, and I've seen the grading game really take off when people start understanding and realizing that there's so much of a potential profit, in that area right now, So, I mean, of course, we can't talk about it, give all the details in one podcast or one shows, but there's so many avenues you can go into, right? And then you can always fall back into buy what you like of the players that you like or the the different sports that you like. And sometimes you have to throw out the window, am I making a profit off of it? Right now I picked up quite a few Pokemon cards, and I've been blasting them all over my Instagram, and a lot of people have been getting a lot of nostalgic vibes, hitting me up and say, man, I remember the days when I was pulling all those cards. Thank you for posting that kind of stuff. And it was a little different than what I normally post, but it looks shiny, it looks cool, right? They're probably some of the original refractors of our time, when they were coming out. But like I said, it takes us back to a nostalgic time, and I really enjoy that lane that I'm in right now.
Yeah, I can agree. I'm in the same way. I mean, I feel like I'm in a pretty aggressive mode right now. I feel like I see a lot of area opportunity as an investor, and I think that the more I think about buying, I look at everything as an area opportunity, right? So if I buy a car that may be, that might be gradable, and I buy it for X amount of dollars, and then I'm thinking about the possibilities of grading it potentially for money, or trading it for something I'm interested in. So it's just really interesting to hear how other people's take about it. I don't know, it's just kind of weird for me to talk about it because it's like I don't want to give out too much detail. But I don't want to look like one of those guys. You know what I think about? I think about that guy that like one pair of gym shoes, like one pair of Jordans, and it's like instead of him going in the store being able to buy a pair of Jordans, buying them just so I can resell them to them. So it kind of makes me feel some type of way, to be able to to do that. So it may be kind of unfortunate for that guy that's coming into Foot Locker to pick up their pair of shoes, but I mean, for me, it's like it's an area opportunity for me to make money. It's like if I know people are paying X amount of dollars for it. Like I guess right now the Xbox and the PS4, PS5. Yeah. So people are buying these systems. Most of them have they don't want to buy it to play it. They buying it because they see people are paying $1,000 for it. So it's like, so it's just an area of opportunity. So I guess you got to take that, and apply it with the hobby. So, I mean, if you go to a show and you see $1,000 card on the table for $200, you're like, well, I'll take it for $200. I'm sure that, it's a good value there. So,
well, here's the thing, though.
It's weird.
If you see $1,000 card for $200, that's the seller's fault. So you can't be mad because that means that you did get that deal. Now, if you see $1,000 card just $1,000 that somebody has for $2,000, that may be something different. And that's when we get to the selling part, we can touch on that. But you said some interesting things about like you feeling weird about telling people that like you buy cards just so like because you see an area of opportunity. I think we all do. As if you have a business mindset or anybody, I mean, you're gonna look at something, and obviously, like I buy a couple cards here and there that aren't gonna ever go up. Like I just bought a TJ4 Black Refractor BGS 8.5 just for the hell of it.
But he's a Houston GOAT, baby. Shout out.
He's a Houston GOAT, and that's why I did it, because he's a GOAT. He's the reason why I wore 11 in all the sports that I played. Going up through high school, and I had numbers.
TJ4
to wear. He was on one of the top 5 high school teams of all time out of Texas for sure. Maybe number 2. They won 62 games in a row. They won 75 and won over 2 years. It's just ridiculous. But back to what I was saying about, there are those collector aspects where you're not going to make money on something, but then you buy something because you like, well, here's a potential to for this to go up. That's why everybody was buying LeBron cards during the bubble. Everybody was buying LeBron. If you look at it, like on Instagram, buying LeBron. Everybody was buying him.
Correct.
Because they thought
Cameron Johnson.
Hey, you were buying Cameron
money.
Johnson. You still made some money on Cameron Johnson. You were buying Cameron Johnson.
Money on Cameron Johnson.
And like if it's cheap, like there's room for money to be made. So like you got to be able to fund your PC
but you know what,
some
though?
kind of way.
But you know what though, Mark? I think you played. I mean, what you did was really you knew your
role.
No,
it's a smart play.
For some people who are trying to get into the industry and want to buy LeBron James, they might see it as it's too me to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he was cheap to the masses, the people who are familiar with the hobby, and but or the people who but for you, you kind of focused on what you felt like was the better investment at the time. And I told you at the time, I was like, Cameron Johnson's falling in your lap, bro. You might need to just focus on Cameron Johnson because I think he's gonna make you the most amount of money.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you a little secret, right? Because I had to eventually understand my lane, and I don't have a limited budget.
Yeah.
So the real reason why I started picking up a lot of the Cameron Johnsons, because I couldn't afford a Zion or a Morant low number short print of that same card. So I thought it was kind of cool to own a Prism Gold Cameron Johnson because I like to look at the card, right?
Yeah,
so sick.
And so,
I owned it.
So I mean, if I had Raphael's money, man, I could buy Zion Golds, right, left and right. I could probably put together the whole print run, right? But I could only afford Cameron Johnson Golds, and I had like 3 or 4 Prism Gold autographs, which I did okay on. I was able to pick up a gold vinyl optic, for a little bit of money. But imagine what a Zion would have done as a gold optic auto, right? And I couldn't afford that card, but they're so pleasing in person that I had to have one, right? And since I was a guy that I kept on following me in breaks and I kept picking up, I went ahead and picked up a lot of rare cards. And I picked up that gem from you, Raphael, if I'm tooting your horn a little bit, that says that, pick up the rare stuff, right? Because them are the stuff that you're not going to be able to find later on. And especially if you can get it cheap, and if he ever does blow up, you're going to make, a little bit of money for yourself and for your collection.
Yep, that's true.
And at the end of the day, too, Mark, what you did was you still bought something that even if it didn't go up, it had a chance to go up, but even if it didn't go up, it was aesthetically pleasing and you liked it.
Yeah.
And
Cameron Johnson is actually ideally one of the best people in the product.
Player. I'm a North Carolina fan, so I knew it was going to be good, and I knew Cameron Johnson was going to be good. Now, Nasir Little needs a little bit of work, and he just needs the opportunity. And I think that he needs somebody that's going to believe in him and give him the confidence to be the player that I know he can be. But Cam Johnson and Kobe, I watched them play that whole year. I watched Kobe's whole freshman year, and I just knew they were going to be good in the league. I knew Cameron Johnson was going to be good too because he can shoot.
Nice.
Now, how much better is he going to be with Chris Paul?
He's going to be a lot better. I think Chris Paul is somebody that's going to.
He's a special player.
He's gonna make these guys. He's super special. He's the point guard. You the prison guard. He's the point guard.
Yeah,
and
Man,
I mean it's very true. If you saw what he did,
all them guys.
Yeah, if you saw what he did with Shea last year and Dennis Schroeder, those two guys, and really just the rest of the team, he had the opportunity to really actually be a true point guard again, as opposed to what he did in Houston was not his true role, and he really kind of didn't even in with the Clippers, he wasn't really in that kind of true role where he was just running the offense the way he wanted to. He did a lot of high pick and rolls with Blake Griffin. They were trying to do all the lob stuff, and it was a lot of spot up shooting with the Rockets. If you look back to what he was doing in New Orleans, that's the type of player I think he's in, and even last year. And I think that's why he's had such a good year, because number one, it's refreshing to you. And I think he's a player that can bring out the best in a lot of players. He's definitely a Hall of Fame player. So
look what he did to Tyson Chandler, man, in New Orleans, right?
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying.
The same effect on DeAndre Ayton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DeAndre Ayton, and then Cam. Don't even want to mention Devin Booker, because that's scary to me. Because now Devin Booker doesn't have to be the primary ball handler anymore.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, so it's interesting, man, and I guess we can touch a little bases on that aspect of it. I guess
Thomas, you're right.
Away from the whole buying stuff, but yeah, definitely, man. There's a way to go about buying, right? You got to be strategic. You got to put some research in, because you can go spend a lot of money on a bow, right? Spend a whole bunch of money over a scrimmage game, and then lose your butt off, right? Lose your butt off, and then what? Now you have the market so saturated and so high where you'll never be able to get your money back for what? For hype. So you just got to be careful on what you buy into.
That's correct.
You can be left holding the bag at the end of the day.
Yes, I mean the industry is very tricky. So when we're dealing with buying, so I guess we kind of already talked about our feel on buying. I think we all kind of have the same strategy. We look at areas of opportunity. We're looking at what's going to make us X amount of money.
I got one more thing.
Whether we buy for PC, personal. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I got one more thing too. Even if you're not new to the hobby, but definitely if you're new to collecting, you're new to the hobby. A part of buying that I use the most is 130 point and card snoop, and I also use Card Ladder. Shameless plug for them, but those two, 130 point and card snoop, they give you the ability to see what a card is actually selling for. Really anything on eBay, but like you see bins on eBay all day and they're higher than whatever. And so, like, you got to look at it. And a good strategy to do is if there's something that you're bidding on, and maybe this is free game to me. If there's something that you're bidding on and you check the comps and you're like, all right, it's about to go over the comps, go check the bin. Go check the buy it now. Just change your filter to buy it now, and I guarantee you there's something that's lower than I guarantee you there's going to be something that's lower than the
where the bid's at.
Where the bid's at, and then boom, you have a card that's now under the comp, even if it's $1 or $2. You save yourself some money, but always check.
What do you like to buy from? Where you like to buy from?
I buy a lot of stuff from eBay.
What's your favorite place?
eBay. I buy a lot of stuff from eBay.
What's your favorite place?
Second favorite place is
where's your favorite
really
place,
person,
Mark?
Facebook.
Dude, I haven't been on Facebook in forever. I need to get back.
I
on
love
Facebook.
I love Instagram. I love
Instagram too.
Oops, like I don't know, a lot of gems on eBay, but because there's so many people looking at it, it kind of lets you know what's really going on. So you have to question yourself. If you feel like a car is worth more than $10 and then it's sitting there for a whole month, it's obviously not worth $10,000.
Yeah.
So and
Nah, for sure, man.
Facebook
But
and Instagram, and you're trying to.
You might have to say that again.
But you go ahead, Mark.
no, you cut out.
You
But
were cut.
I
Yeah,
guess
you
I was
cut
just
out.
trying to piggyback off of what you were saying. That you're right. So if it stays there in that graveyard, that eBay graveyard for months and months, it ain't worth it, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
know what I've seen that's really crazy at times is that I've listed some cards higher on Buy It Now best offers, and they've actually sold for more on open auction than they did on Buy It Now. You know, there's some scenarios where that's happened. So you get a couple people
Mm-hmm.
in some buying war, bidding wars or whatever, and then the card goes for 1.5x, 2x sometimes, and then I mean, of course, you're gonna feel pretty good about it, man. But lots of deals out there, man. So you just gotta do your research, and like you said, he gave a little plug to Card Snoop and 130 Point to get some some
Yep.
comps, of what cards have sold for previously, and then it gives you an idea of where to go. Now, don't
And
take
don't
those
be.
comps, go to eBay and start underselling everybody just to make a sell either, man, because you
Yeah, that's
actually
terrible.
hurt the whole
Yeah, no.
industry by doing that.
Mm-mm.
Give us an example. I know you want to tell us.
Oh man, so there was a time where I did a trade for a LeBron James refractor, and every comp went for 600, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. About six different comps for $2,000. So when I went and I was like, man, you know what? I'm probably gonna ask $2,000 for my card. I went to go look on eBay, and right before I was about to post it, somebody sold the same card for $1,500, right?
That
Fifteen
sucks.
hundred
I hate
bucks.
that. I
So
hate
now you
that.
kill the comp, right? So now if you're trying to sell
Mm-hmm.
that same LeBron James and the buyer comes because they're going to do their homework, they're going to see
Yep.
$1,500. And now your card is
Mm-hmm.
worth $1,500 because somebody, I don't know if it's called greed, I don't know if it's a quick sale, I don't know what could possess them in their brain to sell it for
Mm-hmm.
$500 under comps, right? So please, if you're listening out there, please, 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 please do your research when you're buying and when you're selling,
Yep.
because you know what, if the industry is booming and it's trending upwards, don't kill it, don't bring it back to its
Right.
infancy stage by underselling other sellers.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick, and I don't want to talk too much on selling because we got to cover buying. So real quick, I want to know one time from both of you guys when you've overpaid and what you did after you overpaid.
Mm,
I don't know, man. It's a while, man. Them are growing pain mistakes. Yeah, those are
yeah.
growing pains. But
Like,
I don't know. So you're saying overpaying, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So what
sometimes you
about?
overpay to get what you want, but I'm
Well,
trying to
yeah,
think
but
of
what
like
about if
smart
it's a
guy.
PC card and value isn't
Yeah, I
really
mean,
really
that's.
a
I'm
question,
trying to
right?
think
So I
though.
picked up some Houston Astro rookie cards, right, for like $100, $200 because I like the way that they look. They were short printed. Who knows if they're worth that much now? But if I pick them
Mm-hmm.
up and I'm overpaying for those cards, they go up in the closet, so I can look at them up every now and then. But I really ain't checking eBay and comps on them to see what they're going for now. So what if I did
Mm.
overpay on them? I bought what I liked. I bought a PC item that that I'm gonna cherish forever, and now it's up in the
Okay.
closet, and I'm not really worrying about it.
All right. It's fair enough. Go
Oh,
ahead, Trey.
I have a card that I kind of overpaid for that I want. That
If
I
you kind of
wanted. It was a
overpaid, you say
PC.
overpaid.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
overpaid. Well, it was a trade plus cash, so I really kind of undervalued the card that I owned at the time.
Mm.
And y'all are
That
gonna. This
happened.
is crazy. So, uh, it was right after TriStar, so it was like what, February, I think, early February.
Yep.
It was before COVID. It was before all the COVID stuff started happening. But there was a LeBron James optic from 2018-19, the premium box set, PSA 10. And I was like,
Yeah.
just fell in love with the card. And I had a Luka Doncic silver optic hollow, or no, silver prism actually. It was silver prism BGS 995 was a min gem though. It had a 9 surface grade. So, it was when things were kind of down for Luka. That was like, yeah, February. He hadn't taken off the way he is now.
Nope.
Right.
It was like, give him one more month and then boom. And I knew it, but like I wanted that card. And I don't even know if it's anywhere near worth the Luka Silver now, even in a min gem BGS 95, but that's definitely something. But I wanted that card. I wanted that LeBron at the time. So I overpaid for it. And another one, I'll talk about that when we because it's part of a selling type thing too. But I overpaid for another car too. But we'll talk about the selling.
Well, I'll give share a little tip with most people, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like most of the time I overpay on a card is when I go to a card show,
Oh,
and that's typically because either lack of knowledge, you can't find comps, you see something so rare, and I tell people all the time, and I talk to Mark about it sometimes. It's like I'll say, man, that card scares me. It's not saying it's a good card. I mean, it's not saying it's a bad card, right? It's just saying that card is so rare that I really don't know what it's worth, and I feel like if I buy it for too high, it might be hard for me to sell it.
Can I show off?
So it's like it might be. Yeah, feel free. Every time somebody's on the show, they always can show off. There you go, Kobe.
That's exactly how I feel about this.
Kobe.
It's 24, 25. Huh?
24, 25. It's beautiful car.
Yeah, 24, 25. It's one of his last autos that was redeemed. From the redemptions. I think this is like one of the last ones that was fulfilled. My lighting is
nice. Congrats. I'm still waiting on mine. I'm jealous.
I have a silver prism. I have a silver prism that I think I'm gonna get the pack for. But this is the type of card that's like, oh, that Ja Morant too. That's the gold Ja. That's sick.
You got sick cards. Sick cards.
Hey, I probably overpaid for that.
No, you didn't overpay.
Probably didn't. No, you didn't.
Lack of knowledge on some other people's behalf. It's not your fault though.
Yeah.
You just made logical sense.
But going back to the overpaying thing or being scared of a card, because even owning it, you'd be like, damn, I'm scared of this card because like if somebody wants it, I don't have any comps for it. I don't know what it's worth. Yep. It's hard to put a value on it. And so at that point though, like I've seen, you kind of need to just put your own value, which you feel like it's worth out there.
Yep.
Because they may bite and they take it. And if it goes to open auction and does more, you can't be mad about it.
So with that being said, I think we should jump into selling.
We should.
That is a good segue, man. You know how I feel about selling. Man.
So that's why I said that. I'm thinking to myself, like, I want your worst experiences, because what's important about your worst experience is the maneuvering to selling, right? So we all got to figure out a way to sell this card. So you buy a bad investment, now you got to sell it. How do you handle it, guys? How do y'all handle it? Trey, go.
I take it on the chin. Like it's one of those things where if you're learning, it's just you take it as a learned lesson. You made a bet on something, or you bought something that you thought was going to go up, and you did it with those intentions of it going up, and you spent X amount of money, and you might not have bought it in the peak, but on the way, but it never really got back towards the peak because the peak was like one sell, and then it didn't stay consistent, and then now you have to sell it. So what you do is the money that you spent on that card, you have to erase from your mind and say, hey, I'm going to make this money on this card so that I can go. You're never going to be able to recoup. Like people always try to recoup their investment. There's no recouping money unless you get lucky and you hit a really rare card, or that you end up getting a really rare card.
What's the most you ever lost on investment?
Hey man,
buying a bad investment
on the next deal.
I haven't.
What's the most you ever lost?
Okay, I have a good example. I was in
$100.
About $40 right now. I'm still up down for it. I haven't sold the card yet. So
I wish.
I bought.
It's gonna come back.
So I was in Vegas. And I probably lost more. I think it's more so that I've sold cards too soon.
Oh man, but see, you can't think about.
But yeah, but no, I bought. So I bought I was in Vegas. There's a hobby shop out there. I think it was a Legacy Sports Card. I can't remember the name of it. But I was out there for my birthday, and they had a Silver Prism Christian McCaffrey rookie card. And he was down because I think it was right before he got hurt, but he was still down a little bit from that like initial spike when he was like doing 180 or whatever. I was like, oh, it's a cool card. It has potential. Let me get it. So I just got it. I was like, I have to get something.
Picked up a power forward. Shout out to Kevin Knox. It's a Kevin Knox plug.
He plays small forward though. For the record.
But
Very
yeah,
small
so
Ford.
I think like the last sale was like $60. I bought it for $85.
A PSA 10?
No, it's raw card.
Oh
It's
wow!
$85.
I had 30 of them,
Okay.
man, at Tri
Yeah,
State.
and it's
So
not
same
gonna
price
gym. I
like we're
looked at
at.
it the other day.
I
It's
sold them
like,
all too soon.
yep.
Man.
But I can't look at it like that. I don't ever look
Nope.
back, right? You can't look backwards.
You
Ever,
can't.
ever,
You'll drive
ever.
yourself crazy.
And
You'll drive yourself crazy.
he
Trust me.
knows my plug on that, right? So you know what you buy a card at, right? And if it goes up, right, and you're making money, it doesn't matter really what you're selling it for, as long as you're making money.
Yeah.
And if you sit on a card and you're trying to make as much money as you can off of that card to the last little needle, you're going to miss your opportunity, and then you're really going to start losing your butt off on these investments. So don't ever be scared to sell a card for what you're happy to sell it for, and let the next man make his money, right? Because that's how you keep this hobby alive, right?
That's correct.
But at what point, though, when you're selling a card to somebody, does it become disrespectful?
Ooh.
Right? At what point? Right?
Man.
And I know that we all do it. I'm guilty of it, right? First and foremost, I'm gonna raise my hand. I'll go on eBay where I can remain as anonymous as possible.
Off for $500 on a $10,000 card.
And I'll put in the lowest bid that I can put in hopes that I can win that card.
It's happened.
I know I do it. I'm guilty of it. You know?
I'm guilty too.
It's one of those things where at what point does it become disrespectful, right? And is it disrespectful if it's in person, or is it disrespectful if it's online?
It's both. It's even more disrespectful in person though. Like if you have people come up to you and like, I think when you go to shows, and I see this all the time. Here's a prime example of when it's disrespectful and it gets to me and it bothers me. So I'm gonna leave the person anonymous, but there's a little small show here in Houston that they do, and there's this guy that's a dealer. He's at every show, and you walk up to him, and I was just listening to him to talk to somebody, and they were trying to sell him some cards. You know, they were trying to make a little money so they could spend it or trade, whatever. And he's not really like actively comping cards, right? And he's like, hold on, I'm gonna tell you what it's worth. Oh, okay. Because I need some room to make money. And I'm like, but I get that aspect of it, but you're like sitting here not even being fair to people when you're like, I already know what my card's worth. I have a price on it. Oh, let me look it up and tell you what I think it's worth. And so what he's basically gonna do is go look at the lowest comp of the last 6 and give you the lowest comp of the last 6 versus 10 or 15% less than what you're asking.
Yeah, well, see, my scenario is a little different than that. My scenario went like this, right? And Raphael, I'm over here manning this card like a prison guard, right? With all these inmates that are stuck in these cages trying to get out. No, but man, some guy walks up to the table, right? And I already had a conversation about what Rob wanted for his cards. And so a guy walks up to the table and he goes, hey, man, what do you want for that card? What do you want for that card? And I said, well, my dude, he just walked away, but, he wants $4K for this card, right? And he goes, your price is too high. Your price is too high. I said, what are you talking about? It's too high. And so he goes, yeah, the last one went for $1,400. And I said, okay, that's cool. When's that comp? He goes,
August.
It was in August.
That's
right?
definitely a good topic.
And just to put it up in perspective, is Trey Young rookie card select out of 25 BGS 95.
I'm jealous of that card.
He goes, yeah, the last one went for $1,300, man. So I think you're a little off. I said, okay, so you're gonna comp me an August card on one of the hottest selling guys in the hobby. Plug to our last podcast. He's already went up 3x in the last month, and you're gonna comp me an August comp, not even a September.
Silver's
comp.
was like $1,000 in August.
It's the weirdest thing, right? And then I can kind of segue into another one, right? So know what you're buying and don't be afraid to pull the trigger, right? So I had a couple cards that a guy walked up to the table and he wanted to buy while we're in Dallas. And he was looking at them. I comped them right before the show, so I know exactly where they were. I had them priced accordingly. And to my luck, everything went down right when I went to the show for whatever reason. And maybe it was because everybody that was buying was at the show, so the comps fell dead because there was nobody to bid on them. So my cards went down like 60, 75%, but I'm okay because I graded the cards. And anytime I grade a card on my own, I have so much room in it that it's okay if I let somebody else get a deal. And I don't mind letting people get a deal because I'm already make mine. And so I basically told the guy, you know what? You're right. They did go lower. So I offered this guy these cards for $1,100. And he sat there, he thought about it. He said, man, I'm gonna think about it. I'll be right back. Right? The second that
Right.
you say I'll be right back, that deal is done. Right? I can go up
Yep.
on the price $2,000 if I wanted to, because you already left the deal. The deal's done. So what I did was I packed up the cards. I went over to a booth 3 aisles down, right? And I sold the cards for $1,500. And as I'm selling these cards to the other dealer, this guy comes back to the booth and he's like, "Hey man, you still got them Kobe's? You still got those cheeseburgers, man?" I said, "Nah, I sold them."
Nah.
He said, "You still got that Iverson, man?" "Nah, I
Right.
sold them."
Sold
I
it.
came back to the table. He circles back and he goes, "Hey man, did you sell them cards?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "What you get for them if you don't mind?" And actually, sometimes I wouldn't say, but I went, "Man, I got $1,500 for those cards." He was like, "My man, you made out." I said, "Man, I was trying to give you a deal." And I was only trying to give him a deal because I was tired of coming out of pocket so much at that Dallas National, man. I spent so much damn money that there was so much nice stuff there, man. It was impossible not to spend money. But yeah,
So
man, don't be
it
afraid to
definitely
buy
was.
when somebody's giving you a deal. And know a deal. Know a gift horse. Kiss the gift
Mm-hmm.
horse in the mouth whenever you get in a deal, man.
I
Yeah,
always say
that's a good.
when you
That's a good.
buy something, the opportunity of getting a chance to get the card. If you got the money, the opportunity's right, buy it. Because if you don't buy it, trust me, when you're gone, it's gone, and you'll be able to go back on eBay a month or two later, and you'll be like, man, I should have bought that card. And then it's like now it's worth 4 times what I would have bought it for because I didn't want to spend an
Zion
extra
Tennyson.
$50, an
Zion
extra
Tennyson.
$100.
If you
Yeah,
think you
and it
have
was a
time,
situation. Well, I was gonna buy. It was on eBay. A guy Zion Genesis for $1,000 when the product first came out. I had no clue what it was worth. I had no clue what was. I talked to this dude 2 days.
$200 offer.
Offered initially offered.
you
Yeah, you
cutting
coming in
out.
and out. So
You
I'll
coming
tell the
in and out.
story. So the product came out. He knew the card was rare. He offered the dude $200, one of those anonymous bid offers, trying to lowball, not knowing what it was. But
Mm-hmm.
then it went. It sold. It almost hit the buy it now immediately after he saw it. Next day, another one comes. It sells for $2,500. That
Wow,
card as a PSA 10 was doing $7,000, $8,000,
that's
right?
crazy.
So he was like, man, I snooze, but he's not making that mistake no more. I'm not going to plug your next buy, but you definitely learn
No.
from your mistakes. That's for sure. That's what you have to do in this world, in
Yeah,
life, and
you got
everything that
to
you do, man. If you make a mistake, realize you make a mistake and learn from it.
Yeah, I think like
keep going.
that's perfect. But if you think you have time to buy a card or buy a certain player, buy them right then and there. If you think you have
Correct.
time, you don't, because I
Yeah.
guarantee you can see a card and you be like, all right, well, it's like I get it. Like sometimes it's like, oh, it's not within my budget. I have time, blah blah blah. Then you forget about it. Then you're like, oh, let me go see if I can get this card now, and you can't get it anymore because, like you said, it's 3x. I've missed out on a
Mm-hmm.
couple cards where I was like, dang, I'll come back tomorrow, and or I sent a low. I had one. It was a 2012 gold standard LeBron James. It was like the metal card that's gold. It was a PSA 9. And I sent an offer to the dude. It wasn't really disrespectful. I can't remember what it was like. It was like one. He had it like 170 or something like that. I sent like 145. He declined my offer. Next thing you know, as soon as I sent that offer, he took it. I thought he took it down, but he actually sold it. It sold for like
Yeah.
170. And I was like, so I ended up the only one I could find was a PSA 7. So I just bought the PSA 7. I was like, all right, whatever.
That's a
But
smart buyer, Thomas. Hey, you know your game. And I mean, that's fine, right? That's fine. I like that question. I like that statement right there, man. That's a good little statement.
mhm.
You got to know what you're buying, man. You got to do your research.
You gotta know what
Don't
you're
let other
buying. Yeah.
people. Don't let other people do your research.
I
So they're
love
gonna take advantage of you.
I love the
That's true.
in person aspect of things though. Like
Yeah.
I had another one. I was at that same little Houston show, and you know Mikey, Mark. I'm not
Shout
sure if
out
you
to
know him.
Mikey the Breaker,
Shout out to
Goga
Mikey the
Super
Breaker.
Collector,
That's
Oladipo
he's
Super
if
Collector.
you know where I'm gonna put this out there. If you know where the Prism Nebula Goga is, contact at Mikey the Breaker because he's looking for it. He has every other Goga Prism card in the rainbow. He has all the 1-on-1s, the other 2 1-on-1s, everything. But I was helping him out. You know, I let him go walk around, and he had a green Prism, Luca rookie card. I think it was a PSA 9, if I'm not mistaken. And at the time, this was like a month ago, maybe. He was gonna sell it. He had it like listed for like I don't know, like 6 or 7, or he had it up for $600 or $700, right? And that you guys, jeez, you guys are showing off. Show off, just show off. Anyway, he some dude came up to me. He's like, "How much is for the green Luca?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let me look it up." And it was like $800. Comps were like $800.
Yeah.
And if
No,
I had
man,
just
look, you got to be smart, man. Like I said, Trey done gave you some gems, right? We really don't give them gems, right? The card Snoop. We don't give them the 130 point, but you know what?
I have a price tag on it.
Be
We want you guys
educated.
to succeed, be educated, and know what's
Be
going on
educated.
in the hobby,
Be
man. Because
educated.
the better you are, the better the hobby
Yeah.
will be. But you know, at the end of the day, then we make smart decisions. You know, but
But don't be
everybody can't
disrespectful,
win.
and don't be afraid. Don't walk away from a good deal.
Yeah. Like
That's
this
right.
one. I got a good deal on this card. Top one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Kevin Durant.
so with this draft coming up, man, you see
Well, it's on right
we
now.
weren't able to really see what this new draft class is going to be like, man.
Yeah, it's kind of weird this year.
With LaMelo Ball going number 3 to the Hornets,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't see the Hornets as a big market team historically. So what do you think that does for his prices, you know, moving forward?
He will be in the graveyard with everybody. Well, I can't say that. Dante Graham actually played. He actually did well in the hobby. So I mean,
Yeah, he
LaMelo
did.
could do fine.
I don't know.
I don't like it for him though. I hate
It's
that.
not good. It's not
that
good. It's not a good thing for him. I was hoping the Golden State might have gambled on
Who
him.
did Golden State go with though?
They went to Wiseman. Like I thought they would. Wiseman.
Jalen
very
Smith
short.
Wow.
Who's the Edwards guy that went to
Anthony
Minnesota?
Edwards.
What does that do? What does that do to Culver?
You said what?
Oh yeah. You know, Culver's a 2 guard. The other guy.
This guy's a 2 guard too.
I thought he was more like a small forward.
He's more of a wing type player.
Okay.
I think Anthony Edwards like a combo guard wing. I mean they can all three of them can like coexist. He's 6'3"? Yeah, you're right. He's just kind of
maybe they're looking to move a Culver because I mean I heard about a trade.
Move on from Culver.
Yeah, I heard about a trade Culver sending him to Atlanta. I heard about it potentially happening with. Yeah, I heard about that. I mean, that's a possibility. I'm sure.
Don't do it.
I mean, they give up. I mean, like Culver. So I mean, you see what he did in college. So,
yeah.
I mean, he played really well.
Yeah,
he's on my buy list.
What are y'all thoughts on since Immaculate released today? What are your thoughts on Immaculate?
I like that product.
It's just too expensive. I'll never be able to buy a box of it, or I never will buy a box of it.
Never say never.
Yeah, you're right. Never say never. But that product is so expensive now. But like maybe like
buying $2 LeBron base cards, man, and I've came a long way, man. So you never say never.
You're right. But like, yeah. So, also another thing too is like, don't be afraid to start off small and work your way up. And I saw a quote I saw a quote yesterday. It was like, don't worry about what other cards other people have. Like, just get what you can get and be happy with it. If you like it, what does it matter?
Over here, straight gems, life lessons over here.
I like that. Buy what you like.
Buy what you like. I always tell all my friends that. Mark knows. He's in the group chat that I'm in. And I always tell You know, people are like, oh, do you think this card's gonna go down? Do you think I should sell it because something stupid happens? And it's like, all right, no. If you want to sell the card while it's going down, you can do that, or you can hold it, and you can. And that's another selling aspect of it. You might lose out, or you might have a card that goes down, and it's going to go down for a while, but that just turns the card into a longer term hold, especially if you bought it with the intentions of it being a long term hold in the first place.
So
one of my guys was Jonathan
Isaac. What do you
Isaac.
say to all those Klay Thompson collectors out there with the news that came out today?
What happened to Klay?
He tore his other ACL on the other leg.
They didn't officially say that yet. They said that he has a right leg injury. He's going to require.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
it's not 100% known yet.
Well, maybe that's why they picked Wiseman instead of LaMelo. But then you would think they would have picked a guard. I don't know. That would have helped out Klay a lot. I mean, Steph a lot. But dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. So what does that do to Golden State? I mean, of course, they're picking a Wiseman. I don't know much about Wiseman, but I mean, they were a solid team before their whole team got injured. Of course, before the bubble. They have some promising small forwards and power forwards there. But now what do you do with the news of Klay Thompson?
Potentially for the
better players on that team, the better small forwards in the league. So what do you do now?
I don't know. Like, they're in a tough situation because if they do lose Klay for the whole season and not just like, you know, a couple weeks, it's going to be a tough situation because they're going to kind of be where they were last year.
Yeah.
even when Steph came back, like, that team was supposed to be built around those two guys and Draymond, and I think Draymond loses his effectiveness if he didn't have both of them on the floor or Steph on the floor. Sure. But I think Steph is so good, and I think he's going to come back, and he's going to be really good, and he's going to have to just go all in for himself. And,
he's going to be Trey Young.
So at what point?
He's going to be Trey Young, or he's going to have to pull that Dame. Like, he's going to have that Dame in him where he carries the team.
I think Dame is a better player, Steph, but I think Steph is maybe, I don't know. It's a toss-up between shooters, but I said it. So they are different players, but I think Damian Lillard is better. I think Damian Lillard is a better player.
I've been talking to my friend about this. It's a hot take, and it's a good hot take. For years now, one of my best friends, he's, you know, we're all basketball nerds, and we always talk about this. If you put Dame on the Warriors with that same team and you flip it with Steph, you just swap teams. Same team, whatever, same. Does Dame win 2 championships in a row? Do they win all those games? And I'm like,
yeah, I think so.
They're system players.
Steph's a system player. Yes, Steph is a system player.
Steph is a system player.
Dame is not a system player.
Yeah, Dame is not.
No, I don't think. Dame is not a system player.
I always looked at Dame as like. I always looked at Dame as more like if they're like cut from the same cloth. Dame is just a more athletic version of the two. Like but he also has that dog in him, and you just can't you can't instill that in somebody. But Steph also has that same killer in him. But it's just because he's such a nice guy. I think people don't see that. But on the floor, like I remember they played when the whole thing happened with the Clippers with Donald Sterling. They weren't, and even if the Clippers were not going to do whatever, they weren't going to play, but they did. They did their little protest with the shirts and stuff. I beat them by 30 that night, and I think Steph had like 40-some points that night.
Wow.
He didn't care.
That's not hard to do when you make 23s in a game.
Yeah.
True.
But I mean, he is the greatest shooter of all time. I don't think he gets enough love, though, Steph, in my opinion. I think people overlook him a lot.
I think Klay is overlooked, in my opinion.
I think a lot of people are overlooked. A lot of guys. I think if the NBA does the top 75 players of all time and the top 50 comes out with the guys that have in the last 20 years or so since they did the 50 in 1997, it's going to change a lot of stuff. It's got to put a lot of perspective in the hobby as far as like players people collect, because there's a lot of players. I'm not gonna drop any names, but it's hard being in the top 50 now. You think about the last 20 years since 1997.
Yeah, it would be a lot of players that would be doubt. Is
No,
Patrick Ewing in the top 50 all time?
Yeah,
He
he's
has to
definitely
be.
still a top 50 all time player for sure.
He has
for
to
sure.
be.
And so like he doesn't get any love. And he has
Not
every
at all.
iconic, and he has every card in every iconic set that you can think about it, just about.
He doesn't have a championship.
Big men don't sell, man. Y'all
And
know
big men
that.
don't
I
sell.
mean, Shaq
Hakeem
is the
Olajuwon.
Well,
closest to a big
Shaq
man.
got a little bit of love, and Hakeem, yeah, it's unfortunate. When
Hakeem.
Hobby,
is
when
starting
will
to
we
get
show
love.
some love to the big man? When we gonna show some love to the big man? I just saw my Shaq set doing in Dallas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Been a lot, so whatever.
You know, but there's a couple other players I think is gonna be in the top 50 that people aren't thinking about. But I don't know if I want to like give that out because I just bought a couple of their cards and I don't want to like pump and dump or whatever people call it. But no,
So you
Not
know
pumping
who's
and
going to be
dumping
my
if you
next
gonna
buy
keep it.
coming up?
No, I'm gonna keep it.
I'm about to invest heavily in this guy with my newfound home friend and Chris Paul. But this guy,
Yeah.
man, I'm actually about to probably go ham on DeAndre
Trey.
Ayton, man.
Oh yeah, DeAndre Ayton.
Yep.
I'm probably
DeAndre
gonna go
Ayton
ham.
is
Maybe
definitely a buy.
Yeah, Ayton.
I'm about to buy some more Ayton myself. I picked up a few.
I like 90s. I mean, if we're back on the what I like to buy though, I like to buy 90s inserts. To be honest, there's something about 90s cards that just I don't know.
that's the world I
just
grew
different.
up in, man. I'm not gonna argue with you there, man. That's where my
I just bought I just bought a Star Date because I can't afford the Kobe right now.
You see,
of a certain
it's
other
the same
player.
logic that I used when I bought.
Yeah, but I still think that person that I mean I'm gonna say it. Don't go buy this guy because I'm trying to buy some of his cards. Just don't go buy it. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me make sure that I didn't lose this auction. Ray Allen is the one that I was talking about. That I think he's going to be in the top 50 players of all time after the 75 comes out. And people don't pay attention to it. I got to start. I don't know what condition. I don't know what condition. I mean, Ray's good, man.
Ray was a killer.
He gets hobby love. He gets hobby love, but he's never going to sell what Kobe sold for. But he
does
get hobby love.
He shouldn't sell for what Kobe sells for though.
But if you go back and check the comps, right, of a 96 Topps rookie card, PSA 10, you'll see that he's over 150 to almost $200. You know,
what is
it? PSA 10.
But that's the set though. I think that set Topps and Topps Chrome. I think the sets are going to draw, especially the Chrome, is going to draw a premium for any player. There's just certain cards and certain parallels or certain inserts that draw premiums for other players. Like if you get a Star Rubies, anything from 97, 98.
So let me ask you this, and it's probably a poll for both of you guys. Taking comps and value out of the question, right? And take off the refractor out of the equation. Would you prefer having a Topps or a Topps Chrome card of a 96, 97 player? Get rid of
refractor.
Comps and value.
He said take it out. He said just Topps Chrome base or Topps Chrome paper or Topps paper.
Yeah.
Topps Chrome.
I'll take the Chrome.
Easy.
The Chrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of that, like of a base card, like the actual card itself, yeah, I'd take the Topps Chrome base.
He left the building.
Uh-oh.
He's left the building. Drop the mic.
We'll hold it down. We'll hold it down. Now I'll take the. Oh, he went to go get it. He went to go get it. That's what that look. He's gonna show off. He about to show off for real.
It's a plug for his no green. I bet you. Watch. I bet you $5. It's a plug for his no green. You know what?
He has the evil laugh. He has the evil laugh going too.
Knowing what the card does over time, though, the Topps Chrome 96 card when it gets the green on it, and you get the regular card that doesn't turn green over time. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it can turn yellow. It can yellow. You know.
It can yellow.
It can turn yellow. The paper card.
Yeah, it can.
I mean,
right.
I haven't seen a super yellow, but I've seen some that are super crisp and like super clean. Like they
Oh,
like,
you know, I have seen some yellowing around the edges.
around the edges of the card. Like it's
My new
cardboard.
favorite card, guys.
How bad do I feel about this card I picked up in Dallas?
I can't see you
No,
yet.
real bad. Charizard. Real bad, man. That's
Oh,
why you were the first
which
person I
one?
called when I heard about that.
Did he buy an unlimited Charizard?
Nah, man, this is Darkness Ablaze PSA 10.
Oh. I still can't see him though. I don't know what's going on with the connection, but where'd it go? Oh.
Am I back? Can you see me?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying like you're frozen like on the screen for me.
Oh, it could be my connection. I think
good.
next week I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna probably get some different connection or something. My
Yeah.
internet is pretty terrible in my house.
I know we got kind of back on the buying part. Are we still done talking about selling?
Well, I mean, we kind of at this point
Yeah, go ahead, man.
going back. We're kind of combining both. So you
yeah,
can
I think
talk
it's
about
I think
whatever
it's
you
a
want.
topic. I think it's a topic that goes hand in hand because like buying and selling like sometimes you have to sell something to buy something else
Or trade something
that you want,
Yep.
or
to
trade
get something
or trade something to get that you want. Yeah, like that's exactly what you do. I think, where you sell something to fund something else, or so like Mark said, you can't look back. So I think that's a really good point. But
Don't look back.
never look back. Never look back. Like you know how hard it is to explain to somebody who's new in the hobby, like everything in one sitting.
It's terrible.
I tried the other night.
Like,
it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie
gotta
to you.
take
I
your
tell
time.
people just follow me. Just follow me on my podcast and on my YouTube, and my Instagram, and just ask me questions. I'd rather you that because it's like to sit here and tell you how to buy, how to sell. I can't educate you on. I mean, it's not your friend's job to educate you on everything that's going on in the hobby, because if you invest into some stocks, they have people called day traders. I mean, brokers that you pay who are experts in those fields, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you want me to sit here and educate you on every single thing that's going on, and that's the hard thing to do, man.
Light bulb just went off in my head. The light bulb went off in my head. Ralph.
Hey.
I'm gonna talk to you about this off camera, but I'm gonna write it down. I gotta write this down. The light bulb just went off in my head about something you just said, and that's like
but it's crazy though. I've had people, hit me up and say, "Hey, man, I'm interested in joining a hobby, and how do I do it?" But that's why we do these shows, buying and selling. Trey Young. What was the other episode? What was it, two weeks ago? We talk about how to get into the hobby. Knowing your role. That's why we talk about all these different things
knowing your lane, baby.
Knowing your lane. I love that.
Yeah, it's right. No lane.
I love that message. Like, know your lane, because if you try to, it's just like any walk of life. If you try to live with outside of your means, like you're gonna struggle, and so you're trying to buy cards that aren't in the lane that you're in yet. With cards, like Mark said, he started look at him. He started buying. You start off buying, $2 LeBron base cards, and granted, they went up to what they did at the height, and he had just got them back from PSA 10 with multiple 10s, so he was in a good position. But that's what happens when you buy something that's cheap,
smart,
and it has potential. It's a smart buy, and that's the best thing about
But that's why
that's why
we shows to talk about it though, man.
I can tell you when I first got in the hobby, when I first got back into the hobby 2 years ago, I did everything that you could think of that was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah,
and I still do it here and there.
That's easy.
I bought hobby boxes and I opened them, and I like opening. I like ripping cards. Everybody likes ripping. I know. If you want to talk about ripping wax, I like ripping. But
ripping too.
Now I see, I've been knowing, but I finally came to terms with it. It's like, all right, let me stop buying boxes of cards and opening them with the hopes, and then you get the disappointment. You get lucky. You can get extremely lucky by opening and ripping wax. But if you're just buying cards and grading them, or buying them graded, also it's probably better to buy if you have a good eye for things, buy cards raw and then grade them. If you're looking to buy and flip, I think that's and you grade cards until you can't grade them anymore. So you have, but whatever. But I think that's the worst thing you can do. Like, I remember I bought a hobby box of Prism in October, late October, before like
It's
right
not,
when the season first started.
but it's not.
At
It's not the
380,
worst thing you can do, right? Because
and it's like a
if you're on the
$5,000
train
box now.
early, if you're on the train early, right, you still leave
Mm-hmm.
yourself some room to grow. But the
Yeah.
problem is that if you buy the hobby box late after it's already inflated 1x, 2x,
Oh yeah.
then it's impossible to make your money back. You almost have to grade every card that you pull in order to make your money back. And that's where you get yourself in trouble, right? If you can get in it ahead of time, imagine all the people that were
Mm-hmm.
buying Prism boxes for $200 a box, right? Imagine those people where they're sitting at if they were able to hold on to cases, right? Imagine if
Mm-hmm.
you pull a Luka Doncic's rookie card, a base rookie card out of one of those products for $200. Same thing with Zion. If you were able to
Yeah.
pull a Zion out of those boxes in the time when he was selling for $800 as a PSA 10,
Oh,
imagine if you were able to buy a box for $200 and pull that. You
I
know,
mean,
it's,
I
it's
bought a
worth it.
Prism Blaster. I bought a case of Prism Blasters in December last year for $500.
I mean, I
I pulled
spent
and I opened it.
$600 on Prism Blaster boxes trying to
I
pull a
should have bought another one.
$1,200 Zion.
Yeah, and I pulled the Silver Zion. I pulled the Silver Jaw.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
mean, so
And you were excited.
So, yeah, I was lit. It's
you still got it?
So then you grade them, and then that was worth
sold it.
$6,000
a
at
9.
peak,
It was a 9.
and you
Though.
was fine.
Yeah.
A 9.5 would have got you $2,000 though.
That was
Your box.
yeah. That at the time, yeah.
I love
But they were
opening cards, man. I'm
backed
just
up.
telling you that, man.
I mean, everybody loves it.
Love you
Look,
too,
I
man.
talked to him. Look, Mark, I made you some money on the Kevin Durant card you pulled. I told you to open that box, and what were you selling those boxes for?
$800.
All right. Have you sold it? If you don't mind, what did you sell the red Kevin Durant that you pulled for the PSA 10?
$1,350.
And did you sell any other cards that you graded from that box?
There's some at grading right now. I have a Blue Flux auto of PJ Washington out of 25.
Yeah, I remember that one. I
That's
remember
nice.
he had a low number Zion in there. It was like I think it was not a low number, but it was like
I have
was a
6
red.
Luminance John Morant's that were clean, and I sent them off for grading that actually are undervalued too.
But that's the upside of ripping. What happened with Mark? But that's a good product to rip. I think a hobby product that's loaded with stuff and loaded with rookies that you can grade like that. And honestly, that's probably one of the best plays. With those, yes. Yeah, that guy right there, and it's still gold. It's still numbered to 10. It's still chromium. So hey,
correct.
People are gonna pay for it.
Well,
but like that's the upside of ripping. But I think there's a lot of downsides. Like yesterday, I went to Target to go get. I wasn't even looking for cards because I went earlier in the day and I was like, oh, they haven't stocked it. They'll probably stock tomorrow. It was like in the evening time. Walked in, saw the white boxes, got excited, and I bought one box because she had it left. This other lady got the other one. It was an Elite Trainer box from Pokemon, and I spent $50 on it, and I opened it.
Okay.
Didn't hit shit.
You did hit
not
something.
A damn thing.
Yeah,
well, excuse my language. I'm sorry. I don't know if we
did.
I didn't hit anything. I didn't hit anything. Charizard. Well, I got the Charizard. I need to put it in the cards. Actually, yeah. So I got that, so I can make my money back on it. But I have to spend money to, you got to spend money to get there. But you just get something out of it,
baby.
But that's the only point. The only reason I bought it was like, at least I have my insurance for it. Is like I have the Charizard that's already in there, as opposed to. There's been plenty of times where I've spent $100 on 5 boxes at retail.
But you're educated though. So like, all right. So, and I know this is off topic, but I will say this. I think it's fair to say that most of us, when we're opening boxes, we make sound investments when we open up boxes, right? So if you open up, that's why Prism is so popular, right? You can spend $1,000. It's crazy to think about right now. You can spend $1,000 or $2,000 on a box of hobby Prism right now and still potentially make at least your money back if you grade them. If you pull the right combination of cards, and it's not even that hard to do. You pull RJ Barrett, you pull a Tyler Hero, you pull a John Morant base card out of all, out of whole box, and we're talking about just base, talking about color, anything. All 3 of them PSA 10. Yeah, talking about Prism Hobby. You spent $2,000 roughly on that box.
Yeah.
So
right.
if you grade those 3 cards I mentioned, not including any color, any LeBron James base cards, anybody else you potentially get, you grade it and you get your money back just off those things. But it's just knowing the product to buy. Now, ultimately, if you bought a box of National Treasures and you $4,000 on that box, it's a lot harder to get to that because thick cards don't grade well, and it's a hard thing to do when you're dealing with such a high risk, high reward situation.
Bro, I can tell
Dylan
you this.
Windler,
I kid you not.
It's tough.
It's tough. Oh, it's
So-
the toughest. It's the toughest.
So as somebody that's new in the industry, I don't recommend open up boxes. I think if you want to open up some boxes, buy retail or join some Raz groups, which we'll probably talk about sometime next week.
I hate Raz, bro.
But I understand, but it's almost a necessary evil. So like,
last week,
and I didn't want to go too deep into the Raz portion of it, but
that's a quick way to sell the card, though. A really quick way to sell the card.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I'm sorry, breaking. I meant breaking.
Oh, okay.
I meant breaking. Sorry, breaking. So the razzing is breaking. So for me, I broke into Don Rush clearly. I spent $180. I asked for the Atlanta Hawks. I did 5 Trey Youngs, Andre Hunters. One was a purple and like 4 or 5 Cam. I don't think I can complain too much, right? So to me, that bitch just made sense and wasn't that bad of a risk.
Yeah.
So I tell you a story on how I met Trey, right? Actually, I said I was really happy.
That's crazy how we met. Well, actually, yeah.
So I was in a break, right? With a guy, right? And
we're not gonna name this guy.
In the same break.
Same break. I had the Bulls.
I ended up pulling a Zion Williamson blue fast break out of fast break, right? Out of 99 or 199, right? At the time,
it was lower. Blue.
It was blue fast break.
Blue fast break is out of 85 or something like that. It was lower than the true blue.
And so I pulled this card, right? And then the next day, or the next week, I'm sitting there at a card shop, and I'm sitting there. We're topping it up on ball cards because cards, card guys talk about
right before TriStar.
And I said, man, you know what? I just pulled this Zion, online, in a break. He was like, wait a minute, you're Kobe Collector 81? He was like, I was in that break. And so ever since then, we kind of hit off, man. But you know what?
Nice.
That card actually helped catapult me back into the hobby. Ended up selling it for $2,000. Should have sold it for the $3,500 offer that I got on eBay. I got a little greedy. So I learned from my mistakes. Sometimes that card is only going to sell what it sells for, and you gotta make a decision to sell it at that time. So I got $2,000 for that, and I turned it into some LeBron James base cards, and it's only gone up from there, man.
That's good.
Nice.
All it really does is takes 1 or 2 cards to put you in a good position, in the card game. And not saying that like you should go like spend all your money joining breaks or all your money like buying rip and wax, but there's money to be made if you hit the right cards. You can make them. Even if you sell them early, whenever you sell them.
Week, man, I was on an incredible run, man. I think I pulled that in a break. I pulled a silver prism, Zion auto, and I pulled I think a John Moran silver, man. I think I made $4,000 off of $200 that week, man. I'll never be able to outlive that moment again, man. But I did make a lot of money off of that break. All those 3 breaks.
Dope. Congratulations. Doesn't always happen all the time, so you gotta be thankful for those moments.
Yeah, and I also spent $1,000 after that and didn't make crap. So there's that too.
There you go.
Hey, I remember
the good and the bad.
Speaking of rip and wax, and I wish I still had this card. Not looking back, but it was just a really cool card, and now like it's kind of significant. I bought a retail box of Prism. Not Prism, but Optic 2018-19 Optic retail for like. This is even crazier to even say that I bought the retail box for like 180 or something like that, because they're probably worth way more now. But I was Luka hunting. Yep. I was really hunting for a LeBron Optic Hollow, which is probably one of my favorite cards. That's like a base card. But I pulled the Gary Trent 1/1 auto,
I remember that.
And I was next to this really cool chick. I think they're from New York. Black Jada Wolf. That's the table I was next to.
They're nice.
And she had some nice cars. She had the
Shout out to Black Jada
gold.
Wolf.
Yeah, shout out to Black Jada Wolf. Cool people.
Yes, they are.
So we did. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sell it because I was like, Gary Trent just had like a 20-point game. I was like, this is probably the best moment he's gonna have all year. I was wrong, but nonetheless, my homeboy collects Gary Trent now. Like he has like the 1-of-1, like select auto 1-of-1, the patch auto with the Nike swoosh, and he was mad because it got a PSA 10, and he was like, the dude was asking 20 grand for it. He was like, but I got my select 1-of-1 auto for 450. Right before he blew up. But that was just funny. I was at that same show. I remember where y'all said it was. I think I brought it back there to y'all to show y'all before I sold it.
I saw you when you bought the box. I was like, it's crazy. I was thinking myself like I should buy it from him the whole time, but I was like, I'm not gonna worry about it. He might want too much money. I don't even know what I was on.
And then, but you bought some boxes too. Some old school wax from that other guy that had the wax. I got the Topps. See, I should have got that.
I bought Topps Chrome
because
it was $120. I pulled a Kobe refractor out of one of them.
Yeah, it was $120. I should have spent $120 on that.
Yep, pulled a Kobe refractor and a Kobe base.
I love old school wax. Old school wax is fun.
Yes, it is. I don't know. I'm every time I see President basketball, I think myself like, man, I want to open up some 2012, 2013. So bad. I want a Giannis Silver.
What are they going for now? 2012.
I mean, Big 10's probably like $20,000 or something.
No, like I'm talking about the box sealed.
Well, we're gonna keep rambling on. I know we probably went over our hour a long time ago, but it was really, really good chopping it up with you, Trey, man.
Most definitely.
I hope you enjoyed. You guys enjoyed the show.
I want to come back for sure.
Next week, we definitely gonna have you back on the show. Hopefully, I have a better connection. Man, I don't really have too much else to say. It's draft night. I appreciate everybody joining us when they joined us. I know we probably had some connection problems. We were behind, but this is Prism Gods, and we got Trey. Thank you for coming to join us and giving us an power hour of you, telling us and inspiring us. For future collectors that are out there listening to us. So we appreciate you guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. You want to say anything else, guys? Y'all good?
I'm good.
Good, man.
All right, man. Well, we out, baby. Thank you. Draft night. Let's go. All right, bro.